we won't go into all of them today, or maybe one or two. But what was it like when you first became a manager?
For sure. So when I first became a manager, it was like, man, it was beautiful because, you know, all your hard work paid off. One thing I love about this business is everything being merit-based. I love that, you know, even though I started after somebody, I was able to outwork them. I was able to put in more work, put in more time, put in more effort, put in more energy behind the scenes, and I got rewarded for that. Versus me, because I don't know about a lot of you guys, but who here has kind of been a hard worker, you know, in every job they had? Anybody? You know, everybody raise their hand because some of y'all lying. But no, but for everybody who's been a hard worker in every job that they had, I've had so many jobs where I was the hardest worker in there, and I was one of the ones getting paid the least. Or I wasn't getting paid half as much as what I felt like I was worth, versus when I joined this business, I was able to work my butt off and make money too, so it was pretty dope. So that was one thing that was big for me. Another thing that happened when I first got promoted is I kind of do what all you guys do as leaders, right? Sometimes, like, before you're a leader, you know in your head that 1 + 1 = 2. And then you become a leader, you become an owner, and it's like, okay, 1 + 1 = 2, but only if this happens or that happens. And you overcomplicate things sometimes when you get promoted. So I did struggle with that for sure, where I overcomplicated things, and it just didn't need to be that complicated. And I just needed to touch back on the basics. So one thing and one tip I give you guys all is, like, whatever you did to get you to that next level, don't stop doing it. Whatever type of example you set, keep setting that example, and just keep it that simple. Don't overcomplicate everything in your head. What I do as an owner is the same thing you guys do as leaders, just maybe on a little bit of a larger scale. Only difference is I started a little bit before y'all started.
It's really that simple, and sometimes we look for something more complicated because we want to lie to ourselves and tell ourselves it's something else, but it's really as simple as doing whatever it is we did that got us promoted. Now, was there anything when you got promoted that you weren't expecting, or was everything how you expected it?
No, for sure. There was definitely a lot of things that I weren't expecting and some things that I was expecting. I was expecting to mess up for sure, just because I know mistakes come with, you know, you make a mistake and then you grow from it. I just wasn't expecting to mess up as much as I did. I wasn't expecting to mess up on some of the simpler things. Like, I messed up on emails, I was sending emails to the wrong people, I messed up on new hire paperwork, I messed up on conversations, which was funny because, like, I would be really good at making sure I had, you know, first paycheck conversations with my team when I was in Rick's office, or I was really good at making sure I had conversations about what time to be at Atmo. And then I become an owner, and I'm like, why is these two new guys at Atmo? Oh wait, I didn't tell them during the training class. Like, oh my God, I didn't tell them how to check Telemapper. So I forgot a lot of things that I didn't expect for me to forget. And another cool thing that I kind of did expect, but I didn't know if it was like real, was like, you know, your mentors or the people who promote you out, they'll tell you like, hey, even when you're promoted out, I'm still only a phone call away. Or just like your leaders, when you get out of training, hey, even though you're out of training and now you're independent, I'm still only a phone call away. And sometimes it feels like, no, they're just saying that because they're supposed to say that. But no, a cool thing about my mentor is he was really a phone call away. And he was really, you know, reaching out to me more than I was reaching out to him. I think we talk every night till this day. So and it still helps me, you know, progress my business and move forward.
That's awesome. I think the key thing that you said there is you know, I didn't tell the new classroom to come in at whatever time. What a lot of people will do is they'll place blame on their promoting owner for what they didn't tell them that they needed to do. And you're giving a lot of appreciation to Ricky, your promoting owner. So I think that's huge, that ownership factor, that when you get promoted, like, there's going to be things that get missed. There's going to be things that you screw up, but like, if you have that mentality of like, oh, next time I'll just make sure to do this. If you learn from it, like, that's a key thing that'll help you get through whatever issues you have your first couple months. Now, any fears or worries that you really had when you first became an owner?
No, it's never worked. No, yeah, I definitely have fears. For me, you know, as cliche as it sounds, I was scared of failure. I didn't want to get promoted and have to go to retrain. No knock on anybody who did, you know, but I didn't want to get promoted and have to go through that. I didn't want to get promoted and not see the success that I talked about seeing. For anybody who was in, you know, our office as I was coming up, or anybody in my office now, or just anybody who knows me, like even you guys, my family, I think my family calls me a professional shit talker. Sorry for my language. But they call me professional stuff talker. So as I was coming up, I was telling Rick, or I was telling other people how my office is gonna be one of the best, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. So I was scared of not doing it. Which for me, you know, I had to kind of readjust my mind and reshift it to understand that people really learn the most from their failures. You learn the most from your losses. You don't learn the most from your wins. Just like in sports. Like, yeah, you learn a lot, when you go watch the film and you blow a team out by 72 points. Yeah, you learn something, but at the same time, you only learn that, hey, I ended up taking my foot off the gas earlier. You're not really learning nothing that you messed up on, because if you was messing up so much, you wouldn't beat them by 72. But when you lose by 72, when you lose by 100, when you lose by this, when you lose by that, you learn so much more just based off your losses. So for me, I had to just embrace the failure more. I had to just attack it head on and go through the trials and tribulations, and then I got better because of it. So I'm definitely appreciative for failing.
Yeah, and you never realize it in the moment, but once you've overcome whatever it is you sucked at, whatever it is you failed at, like you appreciate the fact that you went through that hardship because of how much it is that you learned. Now, what were some big situations that you had that could have swayed your career one way or another starting off?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, it was three big things, honestly, just like everybody in here, right? I'm sure everybody in here has some form of outside influence. Everybody in here goes through something. That's life. There's no such thing as somebody who's just not going through something, right? Everybody's going through something. So for me, when I first started, I was maybe about 4 weeks in, like pushing for leadership, not quite yet a leader. And I had a close friend of mine who lost his life to gun violence. And for me, it sucked because I wasn't like killing in sales, so I didn't have enough money to be able to go home with my family and be there for my family and friends. And all of them were like bashing me, like, where you at? You're supposed to be here for us, stuff like that. So it kind of did sway me a little bit towards like, man, like, is this even really the job for me, or is this really even the company for me? But what kind of reeled me in is, it was just so family oriented. Just being in a situation where I felt like I can be myself. I've never had a job or a career where I feel like I can be myself. I've never had a place where I can walk in and somebody's just as obnoxious as I am. Or I never had a place where I can compete, have fun, and make money all at the same time, unless you're playing professional sports. But I wasn't playing professional sports, so I never had that. So having that kind of helped me stick around. Another time for myself that kind of swayed me left or right was COVID. I know Chang talked about that a little bit earlier, but COVID, I want to say in our office we had like 50 plus people at the time. COVID struck, half of them had to get let go, and then another portion of them quit, or this happened or that happened, someone got sick. We went down to what Rick called an Elite 8. And I was one of those, don't know how I got selected. Maybe it's because I was the hypest one, because I was probably the bottom seller out of that Elite 8. But I was probably the most hyped. So I was selected in that Elite 8, and that kind of, I kind of got a chance to go through the COVID in the field and being an essential worker to where I would go right out of presentation and then step 6 feet back so the customer could come look at it, and they would give me a rebuttal, and they would step 6 feet back, and I would step 6 feet forward. So I had to go through all of that, and I had to go through people talking to me and like, why are you even talking to me? Or why is this or why is that? Or I had to go through, getting customers to come talk to me, or getting members and guests to come talk to me because I had a bottle of hand sanitizer. Like, hey, you want some hand sanitizer? Okay, look, hey, by the way, we're doing some specials with AT&T. Like, I had to go through all of that, and for me, it was like what kind of kept me and stuck me, to the business was like, man, if I can go through that, what can I go through? Right? If I can go through that, if I can go through those type of hardships, and that's back, during the warp time frames. A lot of us don't know what warp is, but if I was able to go through that, there's no way I can't, be super duper successful. So those were some of the two main things, and then there's some other stuff too.
Yeah, there's, and sorry for your loss. And this people don't like to hear this, but life happens in this business and out of this business. A lot of people will just blame the business for whatever it is that happens. And usually the business can provide an opportunity, a vehicle for them to find some purpose, some happiness, to keep moving on. So that's awesome that you did that.
Yeah,
and the warp days were definitely stuff. I think.
Not to cut you off, one of my favorite quotes that I just heard recently when I was able to have the opportunity to go to Chicago meet as well. And Jacob Klein, a national consultant, said this. He said, there's always somebody who's dealing with worse shit than you're dealing with, but they're handling it better with a better attitude. Right? Let that sink in. There's somebody who's literally dealing with worse stuff that you're dealing with, but they're handling it better with a better attitude. So, be grateful.
100%. And now, what gave you a lot of people? This is what made me nervous. I remember is moving out, relocating to a different city, and then everything falling on me.
Right.
What gave you the confidence to jump into it?
For sure, for sure. What gave me the confidence, and obviously I know each office runs a little bit differently, but for the most part, I think we all genuinely, take this process. But what gave me the confidence is before I chose the location that I'm in, I got a chance to road trip with my team a couple of times, and we went out there and we smashed it. So that kind of helped us build momentum, like, oh yeah, we're about to go out there and kill it. Like, there's going to be no stopping us. So part of it was that. Another part of it was just the support system that I had coming from my mentor. So for me, I've never had a situation or never had a business or never even heard of a business where somebody's gonna pay you to learn the game, and then after you learn the game, they're gonna pay to go open up your own office for you, and they're gonna cover a lot of expenses. So for me, my first couple of months of rent was covered, my first couple of months of recruiting were covered, all the office furniture that I still have to this day was covered. I might have added a couple of new paintings. But all that was covered. I didn't have to go out and buy tablets myself. I was able to just take some from the current office I was in. I got help with a U-Haul. I got help breaking my apartment lease, which I just got into, so I was nervous about that. So just having that support system and having somebody who's willing to invest, $5, $10, $15,000 into me, I'm like, man, there's no way I can't see success. Like, this person's investing this much money into me. I'm sure later on when I need help, he's gonna invest time into me too. So that kind of helped me stay focused and helped me have kind of more blind faith, so I wouldn't necessarily be scared or worried, because I know at the end of the day, he has my back. I know at the end of the day, my national consultant, Jeremy Mosier, has my back. I know at the end of the day, Mike T. McHale has my back. So I just know people got my back.
For sure. Yeah, and it's sometimes hard to have that confidence in yourself that you can do it, but something easy to do is have confidence in whoever your manager is, or their promoting owner, your nationals. Look, because most of us look up to them. I know I look up to mine, and sometimes when I'm doubtful, I just look at them, and if they have confidence that we can do whatever it is that they're saying we can do, then I'm just gonna say, okay. I mean, if they believe it, they're not idiots. They make way more money than me. They're way better investors than me. If they're willing to invest in me, if they're willing to invest in this individual, then chances are they can do it. And that makes it easier to have that blind faith. Now, last question, any advice that you have for someone trying to get promoted?
Yeah, for sure. I got maybe 4 key tips for somebody wanting to get promoted. One is networking, kind of like what Shane just talked about, but networking isn't even good enough, right? Good students know how to network, good students reach out, but what great students do is they actually apply the information, right? How many of us are going to go home and close our notebooks or close our notepads and not touch it again, right? Or how many of us are not going to review the notes or practice applying it? So the application of the knowledge is something that's super duper key. If you want to shift from being a good student to start being a great one, I would say apply the knowledge. That'd be tip number 1. Tip number 2, appreciation, right? Appreciation for, opportunities like this, which not very many other companies do, where you can come out here and network and gain all this knowledge. Appreciation for the field and being able to go out there and make money. Appreciation for your mentors, for your coaches. Appreciation for the people who you count as accountability partners who push you to want to become better. Appreciation for the clients and the retailers. Like just like having a lot of appreciation kind of helps you gauge, like, okay, hey, this is where I'm at, and then I can keep getting better. So appreciation for a lot of that. And then, final thing I would say is probably just stop being a victim, right? There's too many people who are a victim to their circumstance. There's too many people who play the victim role, kind of like Carlos mentioned earlier, like they want to blame this person or blame that person, or I'm always late because I get it from my mom, or I've never been an on-time person, or I've never been a morning person, or I've always had attitude issues. Like, stop being a victim. At a certain point, you got to be the hero of your own story. At a certain point, are you going to keep being the side character that when the main character is in the freaking bathroom, you're going to star next to him, or are you going to be the freaking main character for your life, right? Like, at the end of the day, you got to take your life, take what you can control, and become better from it, right? At the end of the day, you got to be the hero, because ain't nobody else going to do it for you. You can't wait for your promoting manager to be your hero. You can't wait for Billy Bob from somewhere else to be your hero. Like, you got to go out and be your own hero, right? And then I'll end with one of my favorite quotes. One of my favorite quotes by Aristotle is, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but it's a habit. So just get a habit of being freaking excellent and being awesome. Woo.